Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to a new video. If the video looks a bit different and the audio sounds different, that's because I've gone back to my old camera. I'm definitely not going to be using the GoPro 7 Black while taking the turbo out of my car because there's a lot of oil, there's coolant that shoots everywhere, and I don't want to wreck my GoPro 7. So I'm going to grab my old camera that we're using right now, and I'm going to show you guys how to take a turbo off an RB25. It is a pain in the ass because of the banjo bolts underneath the turbo. There's a banjo bolt in there that you need. I think it was a 24mm socket from memory, or you need a big spanner. It is a pain in the ass. As soon as you undo it, all the coolant shoots in your face. So I'm going to get like a little white face mask and probably some sunnies, because the last time I did this job was about a year ago that I did the turbo mod for this car. So it's been 1 year, did it all in the rain, and now it looks like it's a rainy weather. And I really hope it doesn't rain. I really don't want to work on my car when it starts raining again. I'm not going to use a Neo anymore because I just can't find one for sale, so I'm just going to get my head re-machined, get it all cleaned up, get some new valves, get some new lifters, then we're going to get some ARP head studs, and that should be all golden from there. With rain right now, worst thing to bloody happen while wanting to work on my engine. Definitely going to look into something with like a mini workshop. This is just ridiculous. Now I have the worst luck with this shit. Alright, so we've got some oil floaties left, just draining the oil. Then I'm going to drain the coolant next. Don't worry, that's all from the testing. So basically drain all the oil, drain out all the coolant and water crap from the radiator. And then eventually we're going to take the turbo off tomorrow because I'm going to do it after work. I got rained on yesterday, so that's why I had to stop. Can't do this job outside, bloody sucks. So the job is, I'm going to show you guys how to take a turbo off an RB25. I was originally going to save this job for the S14, but now that my head gasket is stuffed, I have to do it to this. So I'm going to show you guys how to take a turbo off. Eventually I'm going to take stuff off around the intake, and then I'll show you guys how to take the head off, and then we get that removed. We're going to get the new gasket in. I ordered a new head gasket. Then we get some ARP head studs, and then when we get a retune done, I'll probably have a different cooler set up and change my dump pipe set up and add, a couple more PSI boosts, and hopefully we just crack a little over 400 horsepower. Alright, well, we've got some nice sun out right now. I'm going to show you guys how to take off a turbo. I'm going to show you guys underneath what you need to do. And at the top, you're going to need a 17mm spanner. And see these nuts here? These go to the turbo manifold. So you're going to loosen these up. The most trickiest one is the bottom left one. As you can see, as soon as I've got the spanner in there, there's no movement because of this intake part is in there. So to take off this intake pipe, we're going to remove these 3 bolts. They're very long bolts except for this one. We remove that, but we're going to remove all the J-pipe and everything out of the way as well. So we're going to remove all this, take this out, and then once this is out of the way, it will give us some room to loosen this nut off the stud. And if you're going to take your turbo out with your dump pipe still connected to your turbo, you're going to remove your Cadillacs. So this is my high flow cat, as you can see. There's 2 studs with nuts on them, so we're going to take that off, remove this cat. Alright, so it's probably hard to see that you've got a banjo line to the block. So there's the water one, and then you've got the oil one, then you've got another water one up there. So underneath here, you'll see on the turbo, I don't know if I can get the camera right up in there, there's a banjo bolt right in there. And to get that off, you're going to need, I think, a 24mm socket and a big ratchet and probably like a bit of a breaker bar because it's very tight. Here, if you can see that, I can't tell where the camera is pointing. That's the oil dump from the turbo. And there's that pipe there, so we're going to loosen that hose. We're going to loosen the clamps from the hose so that way we can wiggle it out. I also forgot to mention, yeah, you take out the whole J-pipe and shit, but when you're about down here, see this intake pipe with the pod filter goes to the front of the turbo. You want to remove that. And if you're going to upgrade your turbo, try get like a custom 4-inch intake pipe so it breathes better and it sounds better when you block the valve, and it can make it go so-do-do-do. I don't know why I kept this stupid rubber silicone one, but once I take the turbo out, I'm definitely going to get a 4-inch intake pipe and probably run it without a pod filter because I definitely want to hear those fluttering noises pretty damn loud. And if you can see in there, I dropped the 8mm socket, and luckily for this magnet stick, can't fit my hand in there. I'll show you in a second. There we go, come on, don't get stuck. Look at that. This is a tool that you should get, because when you drop something in the engine bay and your fat hands or whatever hands you've got can't fit in there, this shall be able to grab it. Look at that, perfect tool, you should definitely get it. And as I was saying before, once you remove that intake pipe part, see the spanner here? Look at that, more room without this shit in the way. So basically you can put the spanner down in there and you've got, oops, you've got so much room to fucking crack that off. And then once you put the turbo back in, you've got more room to readjust and retighten that shit. So basically right now I've just undone, I've got a bit of coolant on the lens if you guys can't see, let me wipe that shit off. Alright, so right now I've just undone the banjo bolts for the water lines to the turbo, so I'm going to let all the coolant leak out that was around in the lines. It's bullshit because it's slowing my process down right now because I'm not going to lay in that shit. Last year when I took my turbo out, I basically laid in all that shit because I was like, fuck it, I just want to get the job done, so I didn't care. But now I do because this shit stinks, it's annoying. And now I gotta wait for all this shit in the turbo to drain out and then remove the turbo. So I'm gonna put you guys on a time lapse when I remove the turbo, and I'm hoping that it does not rain because it's been raining on me every single day and it says it's gonna rain every day of the week. What a worse time for a head gasket to bust. All right, we got that coolant in that groove leading up right pretty much behind me. That's why I got my hoodie on so my hair doesn't stick in that shit. And have a look at this tight, look how tight this spot is to get this bloody banjo bolt off. So you gotta go right in here, get on that banjo bolt and loosen it. Because if you use the socket, it bashes up against your block, so you've got no room to get the banjo out without the socket. So you're gonna have to use one of these. There we go, getting it slowly if you guys can see that shit. Alright, round 4 of doing this bullshit job because it keeps raining, and today looks pretty promising because it's sunny, so please don't rain. I also forgot to show you that on a lot of stock RB25 turbos you don't have a braided oil feed line. So what you're going to do is, it's basically another banjo bolt, so it's easier to take off than this. So all you have to do is just unscrew that. So just basically unscrew the 2 banjo waterline bolts, undo the banjo oil feed line, and boom, you're solid for there to take the stock turbo off. Whereas with this, I'm gonna go to the other side of this and take off the oil feed line from the block, and that way we're gonna undo these 4 nuts and boom, we can take off this turbo. So I'm going to put you guys on a time lapse right now. The worst part is taking the turbo out is you can either go from underneath the car or from out of the car. So if you've got like a hoist, it's so much easier. So right now I'm probably gonna have to jack up the car a lot higher, so that way I can get the dump pipe not to hit the ground, so I can get more clearance to get the turbo out with the dump pipe on. Or I'm gonna try and bring it back up again, because last time that I took this out, I took it out from underneath the car. So have a look at that. Ah, the turbo is finally gone. It's a nice sunny day. I can finally relax with the turbo out, finally. See how this is the factory water line? These are shit. I should have changed this to the braided line, the braided water feed line. I've got it in the boot, but I've been lazy. But now that when the head comes off, where this runs, there's like a little rubber hose part that does like a U-bend. It really sucks to get your hand in there. It's really difficult. So once the head is off, I'll be able to feed the braided feed line into that rubber hose and it'll be so much easier. But anyway, let's go grab that turbo out from down there and I'll show you guys how to take the dump pipe off. Oh yeah. Alright, so when you take the dump pipe off the turbo, don't just do it raw, please use protection.
You will get chlamydia and die.
So what I mean is grab some WD-40 and you're going to spray the studs and the bolts with WD-40. Let it sit for a couple of hours or more, so that way when you remove the nuts and bolts, you don't want to snap any studs, because I did that last time. I thought it was all good, but nah. end up snapping a stud. So I'm going to take off this dump pipe. I'm going to sell this dump pipe, and I'm getting another dump pipe where it's just all one piece. All right, so the journey doesn't end there, right? So now that I've got the turbo side out, I've got to remove all this shit here. I've got to take the timing belt off. And then I've got to remove some shit like the fuel rail, the fuel hoses, and all that crap. The top part of the manifold. I'm going to keep the exhaust manifold in there. I'm going to try to keep the intake manifold side in there as well, so that way when we take the head off we can use those two manifolds as handles basically. It's going to be a bitch of a job, but it's got to be done. New head gasket, ARP head studs means more boost and it'll be able to handle more power. And when you replace gaskets, it's always good to replace them. Like, I could probably reuse this, but what's the point? It looks pretty destroyed. It's not even a year old, but we're going to throw that. We're going to jump onto Kudos Motorsports. We're going to get like a whole new gasket set. And for here, I'll show you. So in the banjo bolts, you've got copper washers. So those are your washers to hold the banjo bolt in there. And you definitely want to replace your copper washers as well, because the last thing you want to do is put everything back together and there's a bloody leak, and then you're going to take it all out all over again. Bloody wrap that's all out right now. Alright guys, that's the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a like and a comment because it'll help get this video into the algorithm. I've noticed with videos, once they get more likes and comments, it helps push it into the algorithm. I don't know why, it should just do its thing. But anyway, I've got the turbo out. It's funny, like, this turbo can make more than 400 horsepower. It's insane. Like, if you look at it, it still looks stock, and it's insane how much power this thing can put out. Anyway, thank you guys so much for the love and support. There's some new merch coming. I can't wait to show you guys. Like, the design is done. Like, it's new stickers and they look beautiful. And if you've got a question about anything related to your RB25 Turbo, either myself can reply to those comments or someone that watches the videos can help you out as well. For your first time, it's going to be a bitch of a job if it's your first time taking out a turbo. So hopefully this video was really helpful. And hopefully it helps you guys out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Catch you guys later.